Welcome back to my channel. Thanks for checking in today, guys. Today, I'm continuing on my series on the Plano Edge tackle storage systems. If you didn't get a chance, check out my last video I did on the Plano Edge Flex, and I'll link a card up there, and you can check that out. Well, terminal tackle, it's one of those essential expenses we have to make as anglers. In my opinion, it's not very exciting. Terminal tackle doesn't have any killer paint jobs. Doesn't have any flash. There's no cool movements. But without terminal tackle, I'm going to tell you, our soft plastics is as useless as a pile of tick turds. Terminal tackle helps us to accent our baits, helps add to them, get them bit. Terminal tackle is also expensive, and I'll tell you, it's important to keep them organized and keep them protected against the elements. So today I'm going to go over my terminal tackle box, my Bass Mafia terminal coffin. I'm going to show you what's in there, and I'm going to do a comparison with the new Plano Edge 3700 terminal tackle box. Let's get started. Let me first off by saying there's no perfect terminal system out there, but these two companies, Bass Mafia and Plano, have kind of revolutionized how terminal tackle's kept and organized. I want to say that Plano has taken this one step further. So there are a lot of similarities between both boxes. And there's some differences. The Bass Mafia company, this box was released ICAST 2016. I think I bought this like 2017. And this thing is indestructible. It's bulletproof. You can drive a truck over this thing. And I've seen videos where guys do it. This is one heavy duty box, and it is a heavy box. The Plano Edge, well, I wouldn't drive a truck over it, but I did see an ICAST video where a guy about 200 and some pounds was jumping up and down the box, and it didn't implode. It's a pretty decent box, but it's not bulletproof. Both boxes have a watertight seal to keep water out. The Plano Edge has a single latch system, and you can write terminal tackle or what's on it, so they have a nice little labeling system. Bass Mafia has two latches, and they're two heavy-duty latches. This box is heavy, and it's got terminal coffin written on the front. Well, the Bass Mafia box has a lid on it that's not see-through, not a real big deal for me. And the Plano Edge, well, you can see it's got a definite see-through box you can see in there. I still have the labeling on it, but once I pull the labeling off, you can pretty much see throughout the box. Like I said, it's no big deal to me. Once I lay out my terminal tackle, I pretty much don't change it too much, so I have a good idea where everything is. On a profile, the Bass Mafia box, well, it's quite a bit thicker than the terminal tackle from Plano. Overall dimensions, so you're looking at a length of 14.2 inches for the Bass Mafia box. The Plano Edge box is 14 inches long. They're both 9 inches wide, and thickness wise, the Bass Mafia box is about 2 inches thick, and the Plano Edge box is 1.38, so a little over 1 3/8 inches thick. You know, being that the Plano Edge is a much thinner box, as a kayak angler, I'm always looking to try and squeeze as much stuff as I can into my kayak. Now, it's not a lot of savings as far as thickness goes, but everything I can to squeeze every little ounce of tackle into a kayak, this helps. Bass Mafia box, well, comes in pretty cool color, black and red. They also have a version in blue, and there's also a green version. Plano Edge, well, it's yellow and gray. Not the greatest color, but maybe they'll eventually come with some better color selections. But I can say if it falls overboard, it's easy to find with the color it's got. You can see in here, this is my Bass Mafia box, and inside here, all my terminal tackle. So this thing is pretty stacked up. But one thing I could say is not everything is completely stacked to the top. So do I really need 2 inches? We'll see. Plano Edge, much thinner profile. And maybe because I'm not filling my Bass Mafia box all the way to the top with terminal tackle, this might be a little bit of a space saver. We'll see. First off, you got this water wick system. basically a desiccant inside here. Has its own designated little spot, so it helps to wick out moisture. And the box actually has corrosive resistant material built into the box called Restrictor, which is a corrosive resistant material which creates a vapor barrier to prevent corrosion getting on your terminal tackle. That right there, the Plano Edge starts to take the lead over the Bass Mafia box. Because if you can resist corrosion and get moisture out of the box, that just saves you a small fortune in terminal tackle. Bass Mafia does not have that. So what I've done over the years is I get my own little desiccants, and I get these we get orders from Amazon and whatnot. So what I do is I take out the desiccant out of the packaging and I reuse them inside my terminal tackle and other tackle boxes. Plano Edge has a spot for it. It's all designated, and their water wick system is reusable. So if it does get saturated with moisture, you can actually reuse it. And there's a guy who did a YouTube video on how much moisture that little desiccant pack can absorb. And it was pretty good. It was a pretty scientific video. And not only that, but how you can actually dry it out and reuse it. And I'll link a card up here and you can check out that video. So another thing I've done to prevent corrosion in my Bass Mafia box, Flambuy was probably the first company that I remember or know of that was actually introducing a corrosive resistant material in their boxes. But I was never thrilled about their terminal tackle boxes. They never had anything that was real impressive. But you can buy these Flambuy replacement dividers that have their version of Restrictor in it. So what I used to do is I'd buy this little pack, and they're pretty inexpensive. So I cut up the little dividers into little segmented pieces, and I would tape them into the bottom of my Bass Mafia terminal coffin box just to help to prevent corrosion from happening. You can see here, unfortunately the tape's starting to come up, but that was just my little way of trying to protect my terminal tackle. But now, Plano has impregnated into their boxes. And this is a game. This is definitely a game changer. This is a step closer to perfection as far as organizing your terminal tackle. You now have a water wick system to absorb moisture, and we have Restrictor in here to create a corrosion resistant barrier to prevent your terminal tackle from corroding. Bass Mafia was the first company to come up with this bullet weight coffins. Come in 3 different sizes to hold 3 different size bullet weights. From, your large, like ounce and a quarter, all the way down to 1/8 of an ounce. That you can put your weights in and it'll keep them from banging around and getting chipped up. It's a nice setup. They're inserted into foam. The only trouble I have with them, first off, the lids aren't exactly easy to always open. So you have to remove it from the box to open them, I find anyway. The other problem I have is I can't always get the bullet weights out of the foam without a pair of pliers, or at least digging into it. As you can see here, took a little bit to get it out. So the Plano Edge terminal box comes with weight retaining boxes that come in 3 different sizes. You've got a small, a medium size, and a large size. And the Plano Edge, you can see it's a much smaller weight box. Has a lid on top that you can actually label what weights you have in the box. But as on the Bass Mafia bullet weight coffin box, I have to actually label what I got going on the side with a label maker. So this is a nice little option. The Plano Edge has a lid that you pop open, and it's got foam, and you can actually lay the weights long ways inside this box. I think you'll be able to stack more weights in these little boxes and save room at the same time. You don't have all this empty space making the box thick and cumbersome. This is nice. Nice low profile box. Bass Mafia also has done a similar thing with their hook coffins. Again, they got foam in them, these foam slots, and you can lay your hooks into those slots. It'll keep them nice and straight. That's a nice option to have. Whereas on the Plano Edge terminal box, there's no foam inside their hook box, but their hook box has a lid that's a little bit easier to open and keeps the hook secure in the box. Would like to see some foam in here, and I might actually take some foam out of one of these and install it into my hook box here from Plano Edge to try and keep the hooks nice and neat without rolling around. One drawback is there is no labeling on this box. One cool thing about Plano Edge is you can buy these little boxes independently. They come in 3 different sizes. You got a small, a medium size, and a large size. And that makes this real versatile because you can interchange different size boxes in your Plano box to fit your needs. Whereas the Bass Mafia box only has one size. These giant guys right here. So they take up a lot of room. So I think having the option for smaller boxes and medium boxes makes this more versatile, and you can pretty much put almost all the small terminal tackle into these boxes. And if you're in a kayak, God forbid you slip or get bumped and this box goes flying, you're not going to have all your terminal tackle all over your lap or the bottom of the boat. Whereas the Bass Mafia box, as you can see here, everything's kind of open. I have a lot of my terminal tackle open here. Things that don't fit into the terminal coffins or these mini little hook coffins and bullet coffins are going to be all over the floor of my boat or my lap in a kayak. That's what I like about this Plano Edge. This is a little bit closer to perfect. Now maybe Bass Mafia can come up with something similar to that, or change the sizes of these weight boxes and hook boxes to duplicate it. But Plano Edge, as far as I'm concerned, is taking the lead on terminal tackle organization. I do like that the little boxes have nice little clear lids on them. This medium-sized box has a little divider in it that comes out, and now you can make it a little bit wider. Instead of using 2 segments, you have now 1 full segment here. I like that. That's a nice little option to have. And again, these lids snap pretty good, so your terminal tackle isn't going to fall out all over the place if you, God forbid, drop your box. This is very well thought out. You have plenty of inserts here to insert your smaller boxes into your terminal tackle box, so that you can arrange your terminal tackle any way you need to. Also has small dividers that are perforated for airflow. Well done, well done. All right, so I spent a little time migrating my terminal tackle out of my Bass Mafia coffin box and into my Plano Edge terminal tackle box. Completely populated the box, so let's dig in and I'll show you what I got. Well, it was a tight squeeze to say the least, but I'm really pleased to say I was able to get everything into this box. So, first up, my weight retaining boxes. I was able to get all of my bullet weights out of the Bass Mafia box. You can see here, completely empty, and into the weight retaining boxes made by Plano. So in this first box, I have 1 ounce, 3/4 ounce, and 1/2 ounce bullet weights, all lined up. Next box, my 3/8 down to 1/4 ounce bullet weights. My last box, my 3/16 ounce all the way down to my 1/8 ounce. All bullet weights are in there, nice and secure. And I like the little lids. They're easy to open. Just pull up on this little latch and they pop right up. Snap shut. Got them all labeled. Next up, my hook retaining boxes. This is pretty tight. I don't think it's the hooks are as well kept as they were in the Bass Mafia box because you had that awesome foam, and I still might play around with the idea of putting foam into these boxes, but I do like that I was able to pull some hooks from my backup box that I have, and I was able to fit them in here as well. So I have a ton of hooks in here. I'm going to start off with my flipping hooks. My Trocar flipping hooks are in here, from 3-aught all the way up to my 5-aught hooks. This box, this is my offset worm hooks. I have 2-aught all the way up to 7-aught. Yes, I do use 7-aught. That's a 7-aught owner hook. Use that for when I throw my real big 12 to 16-inch worms. I've got my EWGs now in this box. My EWGs, I used to keep my EWGs in this separate box. So I actually had a separate box that I used to put in another tackle bag and brought these along too because I couldn't fit them into my Bass Mafia box. But now I have everything in one box. In this next little box, which is the medium-sized box, I have my straight shank and my offset size 1 and 1-aught hooks. So Trocar size 1. And then here are a couple of, these are Eagle Claw, I believe. These are the size 1-aught and 1 offset worm hooks. Next medium box, these are my EWGs. They're size 1 to 2-aught. Also, I use them for drop shotting and finessing. This next little box here, this medium box, because I keep my Wacky Rig hooks and my nail weights in. You can see here, this is an owner octopus. And this one here is a VMC weedless. Don't throw a lot of Wacky Rigs, but they're always good to have around. I'll probably play around with that a little bit more this year. Here you'll see my tungsten nail weights from a 32nd ounce up to a 16th. This medium-sized box are all my shaky heads. I have this mushroom-sized heavy-duty shaky head. It's about 3/8 to these Evolution stand-up jig heads, which are 1/4 and 3/8 ounce. All the way down to 3/16. These are VMC shaky heads. All really good hooks. I use them definitely like finessing. Going to get a little bit more into finesse this year. Then next up, in these two medium-sized hook retaining boxes, I have my drop shot hooks, owners, trappers, and in this one, my VMC spin shots. When I start getting a lot of line twist, I go to these little spin shots to try and reduce line twist. These are all my drop shot weights. This box here, it's got multiple things in this little medium box actually. I've got bobber stops in here, trailer hooks for spinner baits. Then there's this little doozy right here. This little trick I picked up a few years back. So you're getting down to your last of your drop shot baits. Bass have been tearing at your baits and they're all nose hooked and you're losing baits and you're down to the last couple in the pack. I take these bait keepers for swim baits. You can buy these at Tackle Warehouse. And I'll put a little piece of shrink wrap over top, over the eye of the bait keeper. So you're getting to the end of the pack of baits you have that you've been nose hooking all day on your drop shot. Well, this little trick that I came across will save you those last couple worms till you can get to the store and get some more. So you take this swim bait keeper and you put a little piece of shrink wrap over top of it and then heat it up and shrink it over the eye of the swim bait keeper. Then I will thread that onto my worm. Thread that onto the nose of my worm, like so. Then, once I have my worm threaded onto my bait keeper, I will use the hook and pierce the shrink wrap. Now they have a harder time tearing that bait off the end of there. It's a good little trick, save you a few baits when you get to the end of the pack. Next, I got all my Niko Rig Weights all in this little medium-sized pack here. Everything from, oh man, 5/8 down to a 32nd. All different size, all different lengths and sizes. This little medium box here, I've got all kinds of little tricks. Rattles for jigs. Rubber bands for tying my jig brush guards back or tying them into a split. Flipping beads, glass beads, swivels for Carolina rigs. Carolina rig keepers for weights. This medium-sized box here, these little doozies, they don't even make these anymore. These were made by the Mojo Bass Company. These are Mojo weights. Gene Jensen, who's known as the Fluke Master, big YouTuber, and I've followed him over the years. He's the one that turned me on to these. I'll link a card up here, and you can check out his video on using Mojo weights. But these little guys here, I got all the way up to 3/4 of an ounce, are basically like finesse style Carolina weights. And they are tubular shaped, and they got a hole in the end of them, and they slide through the grass really well. Also made by the same company are the rock hoppers. You would actually put your line through this end of the bait, and the weight will stand up, and as you pull the weight through, this will basically go right over top of rock very easily. And you can also set these up for a Jika rig by using bobber stops on either side. So you can almost make yourself like a quick and dirty VMC Tokyo rig or Jinka rig. This area here is packed tight with a few things. One of which is a punching skirt for when I'm punching through lily pads or mats. I got a few underspins. These are the real deal tungsten underspins. Love these guys. I've used these over on the Giving Pond. Also, my Tokyo rigs are packed in here. And my VMC weighted swim bait hooks. Over here, I have all of my Wobble Heads or swing jigs, football style swing jigs. These guys are made by Mustad. I love these guys. You can see this is well used. I got them from 3/4, half ounce down to 3/8. And I also have a couple of these guys, which I believe were made by Eagle Claw, which is another style swing head. But this one you can't take the hook off of. These swing head jigs, I can actually interchange the hook on these guys. Comes right off, and you can put any size hook you want on these. And they clip back on. These are awesome. I have a video from way back fishing the Wobble Head worm. And these are what I use. And you can see they're well used. This last little box here, I got some ball head finesse swim bait hooks, weighted, and I got these little mushroom head hooks for Ned rigs, Ned rig hooks, EWG Ned rig hooks. So this thing's packed solid. But last year I did really well with the Ned rig. So this year I picked up quite a few of assortment of different style Ned heads, EWGs, different weights. This year I plan to do quite a bit of Ned fishing. I really like that little setup. Who would think that little do-nothing bait would be so successful? Well, that's going to about do it. I hope you enjoyed this video. Hope you got a little something out of it. I like my Bass Mafia box. I love my Plano Edge terminal tackle box. I'm still going to keep the Bass Mafia box, probably fill it up with some other stuff. But I hope this video helps you out. I did a comparison showing you both boxes. Maybe this will help you make a decision if you're in the market for a new terminal box. But as far as I'm concerned, Plano Edge has definitely taken the lead on terminal tackle storage. Excellent protection against corrosion, wicking out water, a little bit of space saving, and it's not going to get all mixed up when you turn the box upside down. It's not going to fall out all over your boat. Well, I hope you enjoyed this video. Please like, share, get your friends to subscribe. I'm trying to build my channel. Before you know it, we're going to be out fishing. We're getting to the end of winter. Well, take care, guys. Stay safe, and I'll talk to y'all soon.